Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, join me right now and just imagine how amazing you'd feel living the unique and distinct reason you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, in places you love, with people you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes for a very happy life. And so can my new friend, Derric Curran. He's my guest star today, and he's here to share his unique and distinct journey to his life of significance. Hey, Derric, welcome to the show.
Hey, Matt, thanks a lot, man. How you doing today?
Doing awesome. Thank you. So just take a minute or two and tell us what you're doing these days to leave your mark of significance on the world.
Well, I was in the news business for about 17 to 18 years. News cameraman in Memphis and in Pensacola, and during that time, you witness a lot, you see a lot, you live what I called it as I lived, someone else's life 1 minute at a time through my camera, and so do that over and over, and you get to meet some amazing people and experience amazing things. And some of those people were they just went out on a leap of faith, and they did what their heart led them to do, and what they felt like they needed to be doing. And the business changed. It got to where I was going to shootings and stabbings and car wrecks and stuff like that every day. And I was there to do the happy stuff. I wasn't there to do the bad stuff. So when that started to happen, I looked for a way out, and found my way out by basically finding a place in Olive Branch where I'd been living for, I'd been here 13 to 14 years by then. And there wasn't a good place to go after work, just to kind of chill, to have a good beer, to have good people around. Just everything was everything was a chain restaurant. And so then me and a friend at that time said, you know what, why don't we just build it? And as luck would have it, I did a short stint at doing video production for a small company, and the city approved us on Thursday night to open the Mississippi Ale House. I go in Friday, and I got laid off.
Oh, wow.
yeah, kind of meant to be type of thing. And so whenever the stars align like that, and it was also my dad's birthday. Me and my dad are extremely close. So it when the stars all align like that, it puts something. It lights a fire under you and says, okay, you need to be hands-on from day one and see it through the way it needs to be. And that's kind of how it all got started.
That's really funny. So you were kind of inspired by what you saw in the news business until you got uninspired by it. And that's kind of what this show is about, is showing that kind of living where you're actually doing what you really want to do. And a big key to that is what you said, is when you get those signs or those feelings or that meant to be, I think it's important to listen to it and walk through the open door when you get that chance.
Oh, that door is scary. There's a big void on the other side of that door. It's like the Indiana Jones, the leap of faith, when he walked across. That's basically what that door leads to. If you're up to that door, there's a chance there's not a floor on the other side, or there's a floor, but you can't see it.
Yeah.
But you just got to take, sometimes you just got to take that step, and hey, if you fall, you'll climb out, you'll be okay.
And you'll be in a different place, and in a place that you didn't know you were going to be, and something good can come out of that.
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit, because I'm fascinated about this rebuilding of the Cotton Gin next to your brewery. What's that project about?
The Cotton Gin was built in 1904 originally. At Olive Branch, Mississippi is the very top of Mississippi, just outside of Memphis. As you've been here. And it was a cotton town. I mean, there were fields everywhere, and this was the only thing in town back in 1904, and it was the Cotton Gin, and they built onto it in the 1920s, and then it became about into the 1960s. Then it turned into like an indoor shopping mall, and was added on and added on and added on. But he was a customer. Now he's a good friend and a business partner of mine. Started coming in and was asking about it and looking at it, and he decided to buy it, and then offered me a chance to be partners in it, and we tore down everything that wasn't original to it and we're using all the floor that's in it, all the wood that was in it, all the wood that was cut here on site, cut down trees when they built it, and they used the wood inside of it. And we're building an indoor music venue, like a New Orleans themed bar. We'll have a bourbon basement club. We'll have Airbnbs, a Mexican restaurant, a Cajun restaurant, a wine bar. I mean, something that usually see in the downtown of a big city. And Olive Branch is it's a spread out city, but it's a small city. We have a lot of people, but because the land is so vast. But for Mississippi, it's an average size town. But anywhere else, it'd be a small bump in the road.
I love that. I saw that you were putting Airbnbs in there, and I love that idea of, instead of creating permanent lofts, you're going to be renting it out and making it. I think that's going to be really, really fun for people.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Very good. And then just give us 30 seconds on what was it like to be filming the Giants when you were working for the Memphis Grizzlies for those 4 or 5 years.
You did your homework. It was a lot of fun. I worked for the Grizzlies for 4 years. I was the jumbotron cameraman right there on the floor, right beside the goal. I've been kicked by players, fallen on by players, all that kind of stuff, and it was really fun. I got paid to be a fan and be courtside for 4 years, and they did some good deep runs in the playoffs during that time, and it was a unique experience that I just love that. It was so much fun. But now I think I'm too old, and if I tried to sit down and get up like that, it'd take me about a half of the quarter to do it.
Brewery's more your speed than basketball. It makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Derric. Well, let's have some fun with mathematics to let our friends all around the world get to know you through our happy formula.
Okay,
So
here we go.
You know the one. It's very simple, but it's a very powerful equation. Capacity plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with capacity. What are your practices for building your personal capacity, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, Derric, what do you do on a regular basis to create the capacity you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over so you can be a giver to others?
I need me time. I need that me time. I mean, when I'm up here at the L House, I'm on the whole time. It's like you doing the show. If you had to do this show 8 hours a day, all the time, you've got to have some mat time. Yep. Like, and I escape. I'll watch TV. I've always been a big TV guy, considering I was in it for a while. But I make sure I have that me time. If I don't have me time, I can lose me. And then everybody's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, nothing's wrong. Why? Well, you're not yourself. Well, I didn't have my me time, so I need the rest, and I have got to have that me time to focus on me, or I can't spread it. Be it home life, be it work life, social life. I have to carve out that me time, and that's important.
What do you do in your me time?
It's honestly usually TV. I also love to cook. I love to. I've got a smoker at home. I love to smoke on it, but I like that. But I can just sit down with a good TV show and just watch a couple hours of it and just kind of recharge my head, kind of escape everything, I guess is one way to put it.
Yeah, I think I recognize that pattern where you're constantly on, you're thinking about this and that. I've heard that you're kind of a big idea guy, and so you just need to relax your brain and unwind a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, let's explore my favorite capacity building concept called a Kaizen state of mind. And it's a beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And I love it, Derric, because it's based on mindset, not circumstance. Kaizening life is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than today. It's very optimistic, and it creates this gentle, powerful, and continuously uplifting of my life day after day after day. So, Derric, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
You've got to do bit by bit. The movie Finding Nemo, Dora said, just keep swimming, because that's what you have to do. If you hit a wall, you hit a bump, you hit a mental break, just keep swimming. And whenever you do something, do bit by bit. You're not going to get everything accomplished in one day. You're not going to get everything accomplished in 1 year, or even maybe even 10 years. But it's like, you're picking up one rock and you're moving it to a different spot. The next thing you know, you've moved the whole parking lot and didn't even realize it. So just bit by bit, but just keep swimming. Keep your head down. You'll get every day someone comes in and says, "Hey, you know what you need to do? You know what you need to do?" Yeah. And it's like, okay, those are great ideas, and maybe I'll get to some of them, but I've got to do this little by little, or I'll just I'll just drown. I won't be able to swim anymore.
Yeah. I've added a couple of words to Kaizen. It's Kaizen and hold. So it's doing bit by bit, but once you've created it, hang on to it. So if it has to do with losing weight or something like that, once you've lost it, hang on to it. Once you've opened your business, hang on to it. If it keeps serving you, hang on to it with dear life, because it takes effort to create it in the first place.
Yeah, don't forget that center. Don't forget that where you started, and that step, where that step led you, and don't turn that step behind you into a slide. You got to keep that step where it was and keep going up.
Very good. All right, let's talk purpose, the second element of the happy formula. And I've observed that major life transformations, the big discoveries of purpose, often come from devastation, addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster. Something awful strips a life to its core and creates this great big change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose using inspiration. So how about you, Derric? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
I think my dad's inspiration is what does it. He worked a lot. He was a pharmacist growing up, and then went into real estate later. But it was a lot of watching him and learning from him, and seeing how he did things and how committed he was and prideful he was of everything. I mean, I grew up in small town, nothing, Mississippi, but Dad always wanted to buy Mississippi products no matter what. He had that pride about it. It just was that pride that no matter where you're from, be proud of it. Be proud of who you are and where you're from. And I think that really inspired me more than I realized at growing up. And I think it almost turned into something that was it was just in my head. It was just drilled in my head to just be prideful of where you come from and put that pride in what you do. And you wear your heart in your sleeve, but you're also you can also be vulnerable in that sense as well.
So did that the concept of being instilled with pride, did that create a confidence maybe in you that allowed you to take on things that might not be normal to take on, like being in the news business or opening up a brewery? How did that manifest itself into transformation?
I would say it was just believing that it could happen, just having that faith and that belief that it could happen and it could work out the way that one thing that I want it to. But honestly, this is kind of molded into its own monster by itself, and we're just kind of holding on and just making sure everyone's happy and has a good time.
Yeah, it's interesting too. Your stint with the being close to the professional athletes. I had experience like that in my early days. And the experience was I met this guy named Fred Biletnikoff, who played for the Oakland Raiders way back in the day. And I wanted to be a pro football player so bad. But on TV and all that, it seems like it's this big mythical beyond, normal human beings' capacity to do. And I met Fred Biletnikoff at this football camp, and he's just like a regular guy. And yeah. I knew instantly that I could do that if I was willing to work hard enough. So did being around those big, incredible athletes bring to humanity that, the big stuff is done by regular people, just like you and me?
Yeah, they're just people. They're extremely talented people, but they are just people. Everyone has the talent. You're doing this host. You've written books. You've got that talent. I can't write a book. I can barely spell my name half the time. So you've got that talent. You've got to, it's everyone has a different talent, and everyone has a different, as you call it, purpose. And it's hard to find that. And most of the time, I think it finds you.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's end the first half of the show on that note, because when you find your purpose, I think that's when life gets easier. And if you were talking about the professional athletes, back in the day, they weren't the great big superstars they are today. They only are that way because our culture made them that way. Yeah. Professional athletes used to make normal money like you and I and have jobs in the off season.
Right. Yeah, not anymore. Not anymore.
That's true. Okay, let's take a break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience. If you have more ideas than actions, If you have more promises than change, if you're ready for the life you are meant to live, then TI2A is the book for you. And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Derric Curran. He's a photojournalist, photographer, producer, turned entrepreneur, and co-owner of the Mississippi Ale House that he created as a place for people from 1 day to 100 years old to have fun, be relaxed, be cared for, and enjoy the best part of their day. Oh, I love that, Derric. And I think you'll love the article I found on lifescience.com. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. And it says that the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet, what we've been talking about. It tells how science supports the notion that giving one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and transcending difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I've updated my formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So what do you think, Derric? Have you found that giving your time and your talents and your treasure has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
You know, giving is one of those things that I try to do as much as I can, and I probably to a fault probably do it too much at certain times. If someone needs something, I'm usually there to help. If someone, if there's an organization that comes to me that says, "Hey, do this," I'm like, okay. If there's a kids baseball team that needs something, there's a softball team that needs something, I try to give. And some of it with some of that is the marketing behind it all, and getting out there and your name on a jersey, and the name in our program and stuff like that. But what the fun giving is finding the arc of Northwest Mississippi, as we team with a lot. It helps children, families with special needs in the county, and goodness, the look on their faces, why would you want to do anything else? If I could give it, you just to help them, just the families that struggle, the kids that can't get a job because they're mentally handicapped, and to be able to support them and make them happy, and just let someone breathe a little bit. Because these families are under pressure, like I couldn't imagine, and just to give them the opportunity to breathe a little, that's where it's at, man. That's exactly where it's at.
Yeah, and that's what the article's about, is that the act of giving itself, it gives to the person that's receiving, but it gives so much to the giver. And you mentioned it, if your giving is giving motivated. It's not to get the name out there, Mississippi Ale House, but it's to help people. When you're really giving from the heart, the science tells us that that's what brings real meaning to our lives. And I couldn't agree more. I just love. Go ahead.
If you can make one person smile a day, I think you've given. All you got to do is give that one person just let them enjoy their day, or break them from whatever's troubling them, because something's troubling every one of us.
Yeah. Every
one of us has a skeleton in the back of our head that's just pulling on something. And if you can make them forget that and just make them smile and give them that breath, that's a huge give there too. And that's easy.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because people think, well, I don't have anything to give, but we all do have something to give. Maybe it's just a smile. Maybe it's moving those rocks you were talking about in the driveway. You see your friend doing it, just go out and help them along for a little bit. And maybe it's money, maybe it's time, maybe it's your talent. Musicians do that a lot, right? They give their talent.
Yeah.
You can say, well, it's easy for them. They can just play. Well, no, it's not easy. They're giving.
Yeah. They're making a living doing that, and then they're sacrificing that to give. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so that's what I've experienced too, is that the magic of life, it doesn't come from getting more, which is kind of how we're trained to believe, but it really comes from giving more. But there's more to it than that. It's not just the giving that's magical. What I've been learning from my guests and in my life too, Derric, is it's when you're giving from living in your purpose, that's where you find the real magic. So tell us, how does it feel to be happily living your life and giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do, and the people around you have taken notice? So, Derric, I'd like you just to sit back for a moment or two, open your heart, and have a listen to the impact that your living and giving from the life you were meant to live is making on others. What stands out to me is Derric's giving spirit. He's a stand-up guy. He knows everyone. His ideas are endless, and he's also pretty funny. Derric is nothing short of an amazing friend and business partner. He pushes me to my limits and beyond. He's kind, generous, charitable, helpful, hardworking, courageous, inspiring, collaborative, inventive. Derric loves to create win-win-win situations. He's constantly helping and supporting other small businesses, guiding them and creating opportunities for them to improve their businesses. I'm often amazed at how his business opportunities are interconnected with the business community. He is absolutely a pioneer for Old Town. Derric Curran is a community builder. He's fought for changes to city ordinances that allow the Olive Branch Old Town City Center to grow and attract visitors. Derric does a lot to support the special needs advocacy nonprofit here in Olive Branch. Truly a good guy, and I'm proud to know him. Derric has a special brand of kindness that I will always remember. So, Derric, how does all that make you feel?
Humbling. I'm a humble person anyway. One of the main reasons I do and enjoy it because it's fun. It's fun creating a change that brings joy to people. That you put yourself out there because maybe I happen to be the person that I don't know if it's gutsy enough or dumb enough to do it, but I enjoy it. I mean, I can tell you about going, having to fight for an ordinance or something like that, and it may sound like I'm complaining, but I'm having fun. Yep. It's just fun to do, and I just really enjoy it. It just brings out a joy in me that makes me makes me feel good, and I know it's helping these other people, and people will come up to me and say, I wish I would have done it. I don't know how you do it. I'm glad you did it. I wish I would have done it. And to hear all that you just said, it's very humbling and ground shaking.
Well, I love, and I'm for our audience to understand what you just said is it's fun, it's easy, it's you enjoy it. These are all the signs of discovering your reason for being on this planet. And when you find it, this is what happens. And it's not just fun for you, but it's infectious for the people around you, even those that aren't necessarily a beneficiary of what you're doing. They're just in your orbit, and they pick up that spirit of purpose. And so that's what this show is all about, finding that magic in each of our lives. It comes from this great big happy circle, giving your time and your talents and treasures. It seems as a pathway for discovering your purpose. And then giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life and to the lives of those around you too. So giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So, Derric, to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more. Okay. See how this sounds. Capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power, and that's really, truly, deeply happy.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah. And hearing that letter, I think I know who wrote it. I'm not done pushing him either. I'm not done pushing him. We've got more going on.
That was from a collection of different people. And it's almost like what I've been doing. It's like that. I forget what they call it in business, but it's like a 360-degree, review of your employees and your bosses and everybody around you. It's really fun for me to do that. So, all right, Derric, good stuff. Let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites and then ask you to tell us what they mean to you. The first thing that comes to your mind, Derric, because it's called a lightning round.
Okay.
Here we go. From Richard Branson. If someone offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later.
Fake it till you make it.
Very good. One from my past. Once you get where you want to be, you're not there anymore.
That reminds me of the Greg was the Brady Bunch. The father of the Brady Bunch said something like that one time, and it was like, you always where you will only be where you are, or something like that. That's what it means. You are where you are, but you've got to find a way to get there.
Yeah. From Benjamin Franklin, beer is living proof that God wants us to be happy.
I have that sign right over there.
Is it true?
It's well, of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah. What time is it there?
It's happy hour.
It's beer 30.
Happy hour at Happy Living. I was gonna call this, change the name of the show to the Happy Hour.
There you go. That'd be good.
We left it as it is. From Albert Einstein, coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous.
That's very true. That's just straight up truth. That sounds biblical. That sounds like it. That sounds like it came out of a book that got left out.
Yeah, and who's that from? Albert Einstein.
Right.
The big scientist is just great. So speaking of biblical, here we go from Hebrews chapter 13, verse 2. Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by doing so, some have unwittingly entertained angels.
I met you, didn't I? You came here but to be entertained. That's a little self-reflection on you right there.
There you go. From Dr. Wayne Dyer, by unconditionally sharing and giving, you'll thrill out the experience of living.
Yeah. To share is to live.
Yeah. This is the show anchor from Goth. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Keep swimming.
Keep swimming. You did the Brady Bunch, and you did.
I did. Yeah, I told you, I'm full of TV in my head, man.
Nemo, Finding Nemo. Okay, now, folks, it's your chance to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show at Derric Curran, please share some love with our wonderful, wonderful broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Derric, I love how you've created an environment where people can have fun, feel safe, and enjoy great beer in the company of family and friends, both old and new friends. And I admire your giving and community building spirit, supporting local nonprofit charities and special needs advocacy, and continually searching for collaborative opportunities with local artists and businesses and government alike to continually improve the experience you can offer your customers. And I'm super happy that you've shared your kind-hearted entrepreneurial zeal on our show today. Will you take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Just if you have a dream, if you have a thought, if you feel something tugging at you, just entertain it. Just at least entertain it, because it's there for a reason. And you may hit people that doubt it and question you, but if you think those stars are aligning, then take that leap. There's going to be a floor, and if that floor is a level down, you're fine. You can climb back up. You'll be fine. Keep swimming and just stay dedicated to where you believe you're being pulled to go.
Beautiful. Thank you, Derric.
Thank you, Matt.
And I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Derric and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Derric Curran. Find him, friend him, check out his beer menu and music calendar at MississippiAlehouse.com. That's all one word. And I remembered how to spell this as a kid, MississippiAlehouse.com, MississippiAlehouse.com. From me to you, dear friends, I love you, and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So I want you to go to happyliving.com and take our happy quiz, because when you measure your happy, you'll focus attention on it. And when you focus attention on it, it inspires change and learning and improvement to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, I hope you'll give some thought about what we can do together, you and me. Yes, give some thought about what we can do together right now to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You're awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.
Also, Matt.